Welcome to Image Hut. I'm just looking at some images out of my recent captures, and all these images are taken in natural light. So simply it came into my mind that why not I should discuss a little bit about these images which are taken in various natural light conditions, and it may be helpful for the beginners and the amateurs as well. So the basic idea is that most of the time in photography we are dependent upon natural light, and that natural light, the primary source is sun. So from the beginning of the day till evening to night, there are different formation of light sources and also the illumination. What happens is that every photographer has to manage this light condition according to his subject demand. And here comes the role of understanding the light. So with that idea, I'm going to share few tips on natural lights which will help you to explore your photography. Likewise, this image which is on the screen is a morning image when a morning jogger is following the new road to Kamakhya temple. The picture was taken on a foggy winter morning. The idea is to capture the shot with a mood, and that is important. You see in the image what is there. At one point a jogger is passing through, and also the fencing of the stairs or walking zone is leading towards the end. So it's having leading lines in case of composition as well. But the point is that when you are taking this kind of images, always think about the light condition. Here you may have to alter your ISO if you want to capture it in a fast mode with a higher shutter speed, or maybe if it's a pretty much static image, so in that case you have to control that shutter speed at a lower stage, which will also give you a higher aperture to record the image in details. So that's one shot. And the second one is basically the picture of tombs of Kamakhya temple. Little bit of rays of sun has just appeared with the winter wave of early morning. Little bit of gloomy image, and that is adding value to the subject. The colors are distinct and accordingly showing the character of different tones as well. So while taking this kind of pictures, always think about the aperture, because the aperture will take the account of depth of field, and that depth of field will give the details of the image. So these are some points every photographer should remember while taking some morning shots. And if you see the next image out this here, the sun is just coming out with its rays, and it's a new road, as I have told you earlier, is being built to reach to Kamakhya temple right on the Nilachal hills. So my intention is to get those rays, and how can I capture it? The only way is that to control the aperture. If you close down the aperture, you will get those rays, and you have to be at a suitable point to capture it, because it is very much important to be at a particular angle to take this shot. So these three images which I have shown regarding morning light has few tips like how you use the aperture, how you use the shutter speed and the ISO. And managing these three as part of the exposure will give you the correct image. But if we go to the wilderness, we are lucky enough to get lot of light conditions. Somewhere it is shadow, somewhere it is very bright, sometimes the canopies are covering the subject. So all this twinkling of light is basically a challenge for a photographer to get good shots. Likewise, this particular image of squirrel is having a guava. So it comes and goes on the tree, but the point is that I have to take a shot. How? The shutter speed has to be at a suitable condition so that it will take a better shot. So here I have used 125, which is pretty much accurate to get that shot because the movement is not that much, and accordingly the aperture has come at about 8, and I got pretty much detail of the squirrel as well, and the image is distinctly defining what I want to say about this particular wildlife shot. But this is in the shadow. So light and shadow are the two important components of natural light, and every photographer has to be pretty much aware and able to read that light condition so that he can get the best exposure to get the shot. One thing is very important that I want to tell you is that when you are thinking about taking some shots of a building or an architecture, try to read the natural light because these are huge and large objects. You cannot add artificial lights to illuminate them as per your choice. So the best light source is the sun. Likewise, in this image of Shillong Stadium, the picture has been taken from the top of a hill, and it's taken at about 1 p.m. in the day, just during the afternoon, and it gives a detailed image of the stadium, the ground, and also the foreground and the background of the hills is already correctly exposed due to the use of aperture, and that is very significant in case of afternoon light when the sun is on the top, means just above our head. So in such situations, maybe some people photography or some effect or moods cannot be captured in a proper way, but for architectural photography it helps a lot because it gives high shutter speed and also gives a large depth of field to cover the subject and to get all the details in one frame. So that one should have to keep in mind when they are taking some architectural shots in natural light. Another image is that Assam is famous for traditional boat races. Most of the time these boat races are happening on the Brahmaputra and its tributaries. So this particular shot was taken on the Brahmaputra when the boat race was happening, and a lot of colors are there, and if you see the compositional aspect, then there is a contrast of colors all through the frame, which is possible because of the strong afternoon light which has actually illuminated all through the area of the frame, and these colors have actually gave us a new look. But when the light is strong, we have the liberty to get higher shutter speed, and that higher shutter speed gives us the chance to freeze the action moments. And here you see the boats with the racers are at a sporting mood, because everyone is running in the race to achieve something. So that particular mood has been achieved, and it has been helped by the light which falls on the boats and also on the bank of the river. One has to have the control and understanding of light, which helps them to get good shots during noon or afternoon hours. So this is one of my favorite image from Hornbill festivals of Nagaland. Everyone knew, because that's a destination for photographers to get good shots. And here, during that traditional dance, this particular shot was captured, and you see the fall of light on the face of the dancers. It has given a different feel along with the color which is there in the image, from the ground to the audience. So though we say that afternoon light is strong and it needs pretty much of control, but sometimes it gives remarkable images as well, which helps us. So this is a gift of natural light, which is so stunning that you can feel, or rather you can connect yourself with the image as a photographer. Sometime when we are in the wildlife, likewise this particular image of a kingfisher sitting right on the end of a tree, it's pretty much a side light which has fallen on that particular bird, and with the blank sky, I just want to get a shot that will help to identify the image. Why I am showing this image is that this is not a satisfactory image. The detail of the bird is absent because I could not manage the light. I was not at a right point to capture the bird. This is my limitation. Because of that, all the details of the bird, the kingfisher, is absent and the image is little bit dull. So why it is so? Because while capturing, because it's a chance factor, the bird will not sit for long so that you are a photographer there and you will click. No. It is at its liberty and you were there, so you got the opportunity to take the shot, but you could not. So sometimes it happens with photographers that they are not able to capture the suitable light that demands for that particular image. So limitations are also giving us lessons to improve our skills for a better image with proper natural light. Likewise, if you see this particular image, it's of Mriduljyoti, one of the spiritual centers on the Nilachal hills. The trees and also the sunlight has given a different magical moment with the tones. And this is possible when you are at the right angle to capture the light. So it's not only the light, it's also the difference of angle which sometimes betters your image or sometimes kills your image. So the photographer has to be concerned and serious about managing that lag and keeping it at the right place. So this is how we usually see the images which are of our choice, and the natural light is the ultimate source for all this. But with this discussion, I just want to tell you this 4 points. Number 1, understand the light condition while you are on ground on a shoot, because that is your ultimate understanding to exposure, and that exposure will lead to your image. Number 2, set the exposure according to the need of the subject. If it's a moving object, then shutter speed may vary. If it is a static object, then the aperture may vary with the shutter. So that will give you detailed with depth of field and also the particular idea which you want to grab through your image. Plus, to understand the light, likewise this particular image I am seeing on the screen, 2 barges moving towards Gauhati through Brahmaputra. Point is that they are on the water and they are pretty much fast in movement. You have to give correct exposure so that you will have a correct image, and for that purpose, position of the photographer is more important. From where you are clicking the image, that will decide the color combination of the image according to the light. So always be careful about your position, from where you are clicking the image, from where you are taking the shot, and that will lead to your image. And the last but not the least is try to read again and again various light conditions in nature, and that is with the sun, because overall in photography for natural lights, sun is the best source. Thanking you all for listening to this particular tips. Hopefully it will be helpful for you all. So friends, you have seen the images from my stock which have given you little idea about the natural light condition, and Image Hut is always with you to share such tips for your photographic betterment. So for such videos in future, please like, share and subscribe the channel. We will be there for you every time. Thank you.